All right, thank you for checking out this video. In this video, we're just pretty much just going over. This is like the part two of the previous video of me setting up the Kubernetes with the Azure Container Registry. But in this video, we're just gonna go over, how to do this programmatically through automation using Terraform. So what I'm doing is here, I'm basically showing you the Terraform script that I've created, that I've written just for deploying this same infrastructure automatically. So right now I'm in the main.tf, which is just showing the provider I'm using and the fact that it's Terraform. And then also here, this is my resource group, which I'm creating, which is basically going to be grabbing the name and the location of that resource group from the vars.tf. Also have the AKS file here, which will basically what it does is basically just has everything that belongs to all the properties regarding the Kubernetes service itself. Basically has the resource right here, the resource which is the cluster. It gets its name, location, resource group, even the DNS prefix that it's going to be using. Um, it grabs all the information from the vars.tf file right here, and then goes ahead and gives the name, location, the resource group, and everything to it. And then also in the default node pool, I basically kept the name of the nodes the same, whatever Azure wanted to give it, I left it at default. I got the node count, which is the number of nodes I want to have. I got that being grabbed from the variables file, and also the size, which I didn't do the size, which is something I did not show you how to change, which was the size of each node in the previous video. Basically, I'm specifying the size of the node in the Terraform script here. Also here, then we got the network profiles, the network properties here, which I'm basically using the network plugin, which is basically for the CNI or setting it to KubeNet. So I'm basically plugging that in, grabbing that information, whether I want it to be a CNI or be a CNI from a CNI type of network. But that means what it does is basically creates its own virtual network and things like that. Um, and basically, if I want to have it be CNI or KubeNet, it'll go ahead and do that. It'll grab that from the var.tf file too. It'll go ahead and grab the load balancer SKU as well. And then also goes ahead and enables that HTTP application routing enabled, and it sets that to true, so we can basically have traffic, so it's not automatically denying traffic over HTTP because we don't have SSL. All right, so and then we got the container registry itself, which this is the properties. This file has the properties of the container registry. Once again, creates the resource, which is the container registry, gives its name, resource group, location, SKU, and even the ability, even the fact if it's going to have admin, if I want to have admin privileges to it, all that information being pulled from the vars.tf file, and even the role. Here's where I'm creating the role, because we went over the role prior in a previous video regarding identity manager, um, managed identities, I mean. And we basically saw that in that one, we went ahead and created a role basically had it so that Kubernetes automatically, Azure go ahead and automatically create a role and assigns it to Kubernetes and attaches it to the Kubernetes cluster, so it can go ahead and be able to get the role, the ACR pull role, so it can basically pull the Docker images from the container registry, which we have that set up right here. And also that information is it's also being pulled directly from the vars.tf, because we see that only thing that's being pulled is the name of the role that we want. And this is just where the principal ID is where it's attaching it to the Kubernetes cluster. All right, so finally we go into the vars.tf right here, which I'm not sure why it's not taking me there, but yeah, I'm there. All right, so same thing. It basically has all my variables: the location, resource group name, and also the node count, the cluster name, which is application solutions, the VM size, which is a standard B2, which is a very small instance, and then we got the network properties, which we chose Azure type of setup, along with the standard load balancer SKU, Also the AKS network policy, which we don't even have that set up because if you check here, I have that commented out. I didn't really need that, not for this type of build, so I just commented that out. So that's not really being utilized right now. But the variable's still there just in case other people want to use it. This script will be up on GitHub if other people want to use that. Then we got the ACR variables, which will be the name, the SKU, the privileges, because I'm gonna setting the admin privileges to true at the moment, and also the role that I want to have. All right, so only thing that this script doesn't do. So please do not mind the commented areas, because what I was trying to do, because the only thing I have not automated yet was the ability, because if you following in the previous video, you saw I had to go into the Azure CLI and type the commands out to build and push the image, the Docker image to the ACR, and also I had to go in there to run the manifest file for Kubernetes. So right now I have not figured out a way to automate that, but I have automated the deployments of the resources, but I haven't automated the configurations of them. I'm talking about regarding at the CLI level, regarding the things we had to do at the CLI level. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and run this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this up here, and we're gonna go ahead and run this. So I'm gonna do a terraform plan. Let's give it a moment. Should go ahead and run with no problems. All right, so it's green. So we see that everything is creating a resource group, which is giving it the location that we want, which is West US. It's giving us the name of the resource group, which is a terraform AKS. It's given the, so we go continue up, scrolling up here. We see we got the cluster. It's given the cluster name that we want, which is app solutions. It's given all these things of sensitive values. It's setting the role that we have. It's given the role. It's setting it to the free tier because that's the tier that we're using right now at the moment. And then we have the application, the HTTP routing enabled. So we got that set to true. And then we got the containers, the ACR, which it has everything. It's given all the properties and the name of it that we wanted. So we're gonna go ahead and run this. What we're gonna do, we're gonna run a terraform apply. But since we already checked everything to make sure it was deploying everything the way we wanted it, I'm gonna do an auto apply, auto approve, so I don't have to go ahead and hit yes or go ahead and type in yes when it's ready to deploy. All right, so it's ran everything. So everything looks good. All right, so it looks like it's starting to run. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and pause this. It takes Kubernetes a while to go ahead and deploy. So I'll go ahead and pause it here, and then we'll go ahead, and then I'll go ahead and, oh, wait. It gave me a 404 error. Okay. The reason why I did that because I'm not logged into Azure. All right, so what I'm going to do, if it give this error, normally sometimes because you're not logged in. So what we want to do, we want to go ahead and just do a AZ login. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and log in, and I'm going to pause what I'm doing that process, and I'll be right back. Give me a second. All right, so I went ahead and did the AZ login. So now if we go here and we run this one more time, it should go ahead and run. All right, so it looks like everything's good. Let's go ahead and make sure it's going to start doing the creation of the resources. So it looks like it's starting the process of creating the cluster. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and pause right here because it's going to take a minute for this to finish. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and I'll be right back once it finishes deploying. All right, so it finished deploying and it went ahead and deployed everything. So let's go ahead and step right over into our Azure environment.